The following is a production of cprundown.com. The views and opinions expressed by the host of this podcast are those of the individual and not of any affiliated companies. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Rundown on Fun, a weekly podcast covering the Cedar Fair Entertainment Company, the amusement industry, and the business of fun. Here are your hosts, Karsten Anderson, Evan Schultz, and Kyle Hu.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the Rundown on Fun, a weekly podcast where we cover Cedar Fair, Cedar Point, and everything to do with fun. And we're back for another episode this week, a post-CoasterMania episode. I'm exhausted. I'm sure you two are exhausted. So let's just get right into it with our first news story of the week, the same first news story of the week that we've had for the history of this show, and that is this week's Top Thrill 2 update. Karsten?
You know, I'm gonna go on a limb and say I remember you saying like, oh hey, you know, we don't have any news to talk about. What are we gonna talk about? Like Top Thrill 2 is open, like it's all done, everything's done. And then you jinxed us, and then the ride went down, and it hasn't been open since. So we've at least got a news story for it.
Kyle's right though. I think in the entirety of this show, we've let off the beginning of the show each week with top. Well, it was originally top TTD update, set our show notes,
right?
And then now it says TT2 update, and then there was like 2 weeks where there was nothing, and then now it's here we are.
So
Karsten, did anything happen since last week? I don't know.
Well, so last week they took one of the silver trains apart, and they were working on something or whatever, took some of the seats off, had some of the seats like kind of like covered up or whatever. I don't know if it's because the elements or things that that can't get wet or something, because I know there were storms moving in and stuff and everything. Anyway, or maybe they just don't want us to like see what they're doing, but they need to put a bigger black curtain over what they're trying to do in it. Whatever.
They underestimate Thuzies.
Yeah, right. No, so that was going on, and then when we were at CoasterMania, Justin texted me at like 3 a.m. or 2 a.m. or something, because he was staying at Hotel Breakers with not rooming with Kyle, but he was at the same hotel, and so he goes, "Hey, Top Thrill 2's testing," and I was like, "Huh?" He's like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "Cool. Did you get any video?" He goes, "No," and I'm like, "That's cool." I'm like, "Can you get some video? Not that we're going to post it, but I'm just curious, see what trains are testing." He goes, "Yeah." And then he finally posted a video, or he sent me a video or whatever. And then Kyle, I think you saw Top Thrill 2 finally actually testing.
Yeah, I did. I spent my entire CoasterMania day saying, you know, I don't believe this thing actually works, because I've seen it like 4 times in person and it's never ran. And then we finally finished ERT, and we took the long way out of the park, and we finally made it back to the park, and I was running on like an hour and a half of sleep from the night before, and I finally laid my little head down on the pillow, and then I see incoming call from Justin, and I see, and he says, "It's testing," so I had to put my slippers on and go back outside and watch it for a little bit.
So you did get to see a test though.
I did. We got to see Black Train tests
a
few times.
What is your thoughts since you finally got to see it in person?
It looks a lot faster in person than it does in video.
Yeah.
I was expecting
Does it still haul ass over the top hat?
It does. I was expecting it to be quiet. It was not. I don't know if it was just because there was no park audio and it was middle of the night. It was not quiet. It was loud.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't hear the high winding sounds of like the cables and things like that. Whatever.
It's
but
just
you
the
hear
train roars.
Going back and forth a little bit.
You hear that like high pitched whine of the LSMs.
Yeah.
And you just hear the roar. It goes way higher on the spike than I thought it would. I knew that it wasn't going to fly off the spike, right? Like that's just not a thing. But I couldn't help the first couple times I watched it test going, is it going to stop? It's not going to keep going, right?
No, just because like you're half asleep and you're just like, is this a dream?
I know.
Right.
It made me super, super excited to hopefully get to ride it in the near future.
Right. Yeah. But you know, and continuing with my update. So that was like that. Then this week I was like, maybe, you know, I visited a few times, whatever. And I was like, maybe testing will happen. And There was no testing that has happened. I don't know if they're doing like specific like calibrated testing or if something's not working right. There's a lot of
I think it's a lot of test and adjust, test and adjust, test and adjust, test and adjust.
Which that might be true, but which is interesting though, because like for some reason the black train always doesn't. No one, they haven't touched the black train as far as I know of like doing anything. So they're like, okay, we're gonna test. Perfect. Put black train on. Put silver train on. Black train just goes up and does its thing. Silver train just, they take that thing apart like all the way down to literally the frame and stuff, and then black train just chilling there, and it's like, okay, we're gonna test. Woohoo! And the blue train's just literally all the way out in the in the very, very corner of the storage track.
There's a blue train?
Yeah, blue. Yeah, right.
It still exists.
So currently, I guess yesterday they had seats again off on the silver train, and I think
they were different seats though than the first time around.
I'm at a huge like question mark above my head. I have no idea. I'm super eager to find out whatever's going on. And then we'll find out once the park. Well, we'll find out once the park decides to release another update, which hopefully maybe next week they'll say, hey, maybe they'll just say, hey, we're waiting for parts from overseas, and be like, okay, cool. At least I'll like bake in my head, I'll be like, sweet, maybe 3 or 4 weeks, maybe. I don't know. Maybe they don't want to say that. I mean, maybe that's not that. We don't like, there's so much I don't know is with this. It's not even funny. So, but today they actually started putting the silver train back together. I heard, and seats were starting to go on. So,
that's good news. So maybe like tomorrow it'll test again.
Maybe tonight. I know the park we can finally announce this. Not that it's our announcement, but the park is going to be open until 10 p.m. Monday through Sunday, with later times obviously
every day
on the in the weekend hours. It just depends.
Well,
on what
right
day
now it's 10 to 10 every day. Well, starting Sunday, I believe.
But at least we got rid of those dreaded 8 p.m. closings.
Yes, which is really.
Although it is nice though when you have to work the next day, you're obligated to go home at 8 o'clock. So you're like,
True, but I think it's after July 4th. Then Fridays and Saturdays they're open till 11, and then 10 o'clock the rest of the week. But for right now, we're finally at 10 to 10 every day.
Yeah.
And quick PSA: anybody going to the park this weekend? It's going to be hot, so stay hydrated.
Going to be very, very hot for probably the next 2 or probably almost 3 weeks. It's supposed to be like 95 to 100 degrees. Kyle, I don't know what you did when you came to Ohio, but can you please, for the love of God, take back all of your crazy heat that you decided to sprinkle around?
The Cedar Point gods probably saw that I wore a hoodie on CoasterMania Day until like 5 p.m. and they were like, we don't want any of this. Crank it up.
Yeah. Dude, it was cold. It was cold in the morning.
Yeah, it was a little nipply, but yeah. So it's like, I don't know. So, speaking of updates, we're just gonna fly right through a bunch of these stuff and everything. Evan, we finally got to find out what the heck that was on the Midway, because the last week we talked about like, was it a crane? Was it a skydiving machine? Was it whatever? You want to talk about what it is?
It seems we have found Cedar Fair's newest toy and newest obsession, because we on the right before the Top Thrill 2 Midway, right by Power Tower's exit, we now have a human claw machine for $20 a pop. You can strap yourself into a claw, tell the worker where you want to go, and they'll drop you. You grab as many prizes as you can. You can only keep one, but you grab whatever prize you want. And it seems like interesting, and there's some cool lighting with it. And it also seems like every Cedar Fair park is poised to get one, because I just saw an update before we hopped on that Kings Island has built one.
Yep.
When we were at CoasterMania, I don't know if you guys saw this, but I saw a group of park executives walking around with somebody with a Dorney Park t-shirt on, and they were kind of in that area of the park. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say Dorney's got one coming. Yeah, it looks cool. I still question the placement of the attraction. It's kind of in a weird spot, but it'll get a lot of foot traction, and I don't know. It'll be fun for kids. I'm not interested in literally any of the prizes in there, but it looks it's interesting. That's what I can say.
So I went the other day, and the prize, like, there was a bunch of inflatable aliens and stuff and everything. When we first saw it, there was inflatable aliens. There was like some
little
snakes,
stuffed animal snakes, stuffed donuts.
Yes, and then there were like little beach balls, and then there were
stuffed inflatable like whales or dolphins or whatever.
Yes. The only thing that was left in there, it's been played a lot. Holy crap! Was literally the inflated like beach balls or whatever, and the dolphins or the whales. That was it.
So they haven't put anything else in the.
Maybe they didn't think it was going to be that popular, and they're still waiting for the shipment from China to to get back, because
all right.
I mean,
listen, it's obviously going to be a cash cow. I'm so confused. Like, where did these come from and why?
Why
like
not?
I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just like, what the hell?
If I had to guess,
I don't get it.
I would say that there was a sale at IAPA this year.
The thing is,
the price of 4
is I walked the whole entire freaking floor and I didn't see that once, because if I would have saw it, I would have been, Kyle, you want to come do the claw with me? And you're gonna be like, huh? I didn't see it. It had to have been maybe past years, or I don't know. I think it's great.
IAPA's got shows overseas too. You never know.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's great. The kids love it. There's always a line. There's at least 15 or 20 people, and I'm like, it's
Look,
20.
That thing on its own, that $20 a pop on its own is going to pay for whatever fixes Top Thrill 2 needs.
Right.
So I can't complain too much about it.
Yeah, but so yeah, I don't know. I've yet to do it because the line's been so long. I do want to do it, but I just have to make sure.
Tell you you're too tall.
I hope I'm not too tall. I know that I saw that there's a 300-pound weight limit, so
so we're good there.
I'm good there. They'd be like, "I'm sorry, you need to be 6 foot." I'm like, no, dang it. I'm
sorry, you got to be a little kid that would find appreciation in
inflatable. No, and then oh my gosh, so a little bit we got to ride the monster at Cedar Point, a little spinny little monster thing, flat ride, and unfortunately these guys and Justin and whoever else we were with.
Hey, I wasn't there. I would have ridden it.
Absolutely said no to riding with me because I spin the hell out of monster. Like, you guys can attest. Like, I'm just spinning and spinning, and like we'll just be free. We'll just be stopped on the ride, waiting for everybody to get loaded on, and I'm up in the air just spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning.
So for context, this was on like Friday afternoon. There was a group of us, and
after 4 ices.
I think I was the one that said I wanted to ride Monster, and I was kind of joking, and everyone's like, "Let's do it!"
No. My eyes lit up when you said that. I'm like, "Can we really?"
We get on, and they have 4 load sections, but they were only running 2. They were running the 2 opposite each other. So we get on, and then they close us up, and they put us up at the top. And as soon as we park at the top, Karsten starts spinning his vehicle. And I'm not even kidding you. It took them at least 5 minutes, if not more, to load the bottom side. He never stopped.
So what, you just like shift your weight back and forth?
Yep. You as soon as you start going back and as soon as you start getting the momentum, as long as you know when to like rock back and forth or whatever, you can do it very easily. I swear I probably lost like 10 pounds because when I came off that ride, y'all were like, "That was a great ride." I'm like, it was great.
He had like 5 minutes of pre-cycle spin and then like the entire 3 minutes of the ride. And before we got on, we kept telling the ride host, we're like, "We don't want to ride with him." And she's like, well, you all can't ride by yourselves. And we're like, "We don't care. We don't want to ride with him." And she's like, "Whatever."
She was confused.
Figure it out. As soon as we parked, and we get down to the bottom, she comes to I rode with Justin. She comes to let me and Justin out. And I go, "Now do you understand why we didn't want to ride with him?" And she goes, "He's crazy. I thought he was going to break the thing."
So if anybody that's listening, if anybody wants to have a really crazy monster ride, look me up at Cedar Point. I will gladly ride with you, and I will gladly spin the crap out of you, out of us. And if you see me spinning around on the monster or whatever, because I did it a few days later afterwards, one of my friends texted me. She goes, were you just on the monster? Because I just saw the yellow one of the cars just spinning around and around and around. And all I heard was like, woo-hoo, giggly, like, yeah. Woo.
Were you by yourself sitting there on the monster giggling?
I was with another friend. It wasn't like I didn't.
Okay, so you were by yourself. You were by yourself, being a little lunatic.
Well, yeah. I mean, Kyle opened up that Pandora box, so.
And the way the ride parked too, like you spin, but some people are like, there's a top to the side and there's a bottom to the side. Carson was at the very top, and by the time the other side loaded and the actual ride cycle started, he had made his way down to the bottom. He was rotating the entire sweep arm. It was crazy.
It was great. It was absolutely great.
So next week, once everybody at the park listens to this, they're going to be like, so we have an announcement to make. We're getting rid of the monster.
Or no, we're just going to have the monster not, like, they're going to come up with something or whatever to be like, or no spinning. They're like, there's going to be a new rule of no spinning the monster cars.
Somehow the cars will lock.
Or that too, yeah. So, oh my gosh.
You're the reason we can't have nice things, Karsten.
I know. But anyway, speaking of...
Yeah, what else happened at CoasterMania?
I was going to say, yeah, Kyle, why don't you just jump right into CoasterMania since we're talking about it?
So let's jump into CoasterMania here. I've been home since Monday or Sunday night, and it still feels like a fever dream. I told everybody last week, I was like, oh, my flight takes off at like 7:30. I'll be back to Detroit by 10. I'll be at my parents' house by like 12:30. No. That didn't happen. There was really, really bad weather in Orlando. We had like isolated tornadoes and everything. So we didn't even take off from Orlando until like 10:30. But credit where credit is due. Spirit,
you gotta tell this story.
This story's great.
As soon as it started, like there was a sprinkle. Spirit canceled every single flight out. They literally came over the intercom and they're like, all Spirit passengers, your flights are canceled. Please make your way to the desk to receive accommodation or whatever. And then like a couple minutes later, Frontier canceled all their flights. And a couple minutes after that,
like, oh, we want to join the cool kids.
Yeah. A couple minutes after that, American United are like, well, we're going to delay all of our flights. And I don't think a whole lot of flights made it out, but this is an awesome story. I know you guys know this. So we were at gate 75 at Orlando International Airport, and they come over to the intercom. Ladies and gentlemen, we're getting ready to start boarding. We need everybody's cooperation to the fullest extent, as your flight crew is like 28 minutes away from timing out for the night. And if they time out for the night, we have to call in another crew, and honestly, this late at night, we're not flying another crew. You guys aren't flying tonight. So we need everybody to cooperate fully. We need you to sit down, find your seat. As long as we're pushed back from the gate, we will fly. But if we're not pushed back, we're going to have problems. Everybody in that terminal like looked at each other and just like nodded. Like we're like, okay. We understand.
We can do this.
We can do this.
We got the
guys.
game face on.
We can do this. So
Eye of the tiger.
I'm not even kidding you. We went from everybody standing in the terminal to a fully loaded 767 and pushed back from the gate in like 25 minutes. It was insane. The flight attendants were sprinting up and down the aisles, closing all the overhead compartments, giving their safety briefs.
Oh, they were a Detroit-based crew.
And we found out right when we took off that they were a Detroit-based crew. They wanted to get home. But like honestly, credit where credit is due. It would have been so easy for Delta to just cancel my flight and me miss out on and you couldn't have even faulted them at that point because every other airline was canceling flights left and right. No one was getting out. I mean, it was a bad night at the airport. And to load that plane and push back and have that flight crew hustle as much as they hustled, like
Did you ask for one of those little cards, the crew cards, to be like, "Hey, excuse me,
I
you
didn't.
got a trading card?"
I didn't because it was so late and they were tired. They wanted to get home. So I didn't.
He's like, "Here, just a stack of them. Here you go."
So anyway, really long story short here is that I didn't even land. I looked at my phone and I had just gotten off the plane in Detroit at like 1:02 in the morning. I didn't get back to my parents' house until like 3. And then by the time I unpacked and we have a little puppy that's always really excited to see me, by the time she calmed down, it was like 3:45. And I had to be up to start getting ready for CoasterMania at 5. So I was running on like an hour and a half of sleep. Anyway.
Yeah, that was Kyle's option of being like, "Hey, let's get to the gate at 6:30."
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I didn't get to the gate until a little bit closer to 7. I know Justin called me because me and him parked back at Breaker since we were staying there. He's like, "I got a spot for you, so I'm standing in it, so you can just come in." I'm like, "Dude, I'm 30 minutes out." I was like, "You can get back in your car." He's like, "Oh, I'll just stand in it so no one takes it." So anyway, roll up to the gate at like 7. We go to check in, and the night before, Tony had tweeted out that the lake conditions were not looking favorable for a CoasterMania cruise, and he would update us in the morning. Unfortunately, the CoasterMania cruise did get canceled. However, if any of you listened to our show last week, the one thing that I was wishing for was ERT on Wild Mouse.
Yeah,
We get right up to the gate, and the nice young lady checking us in says, "Unfortunately, due to unfavorable lake conditions, the cruise has been canceled. However, we have added Wild Mouse to ERT." And oh my God, Justin and myself and even everyone of us, we screamed and hooped and hollered and cheered so much.
Everybody's looking at you like
to where
Wild
Tony
Mouse.
Clark was at the front gate, and he goes, "What's going on over there?" We're like, sorry, we're just happy for that Wild Mouse ERT got added to the itinerary."
Yeah, unfortunately, we did not get to go on the cruise, but we did get replaced with Wild Mouse ERT, which I was more than happy with. Yeah, we got some rides on Millennium. It was running pretty slow in the morning.
It was cold and windy.
It was cold and windy. And then
There's not many rides that would run well in that weather.
And then we got stuck on the brake run for like what? At least 10 minutes, right, Karsten? Maybe even more?
10 or 15 minutes. Yeah, we were just sitting there. I was like, well, here's a cool breakdown, I guess.
No one like told us what was going on. No one came and checked on us. We just sat there for like 10, 15 minutes.
We just watched the birds like fly around and chirp at us because, it's early in the morning.
When we were
like, why are you guys riding rides already?
It was really funny too, because when we were sitting in the station, our group was an odd number of people. So I rode next to a gentleman, and we were in the station, and everyone's like, "Kyle, it's your first time." Like they were joking, like I'd never been on Millennium before. So I turned to the kid next to me, and I was like, "Dude, I've never been on this before. Is it scary?" He's like, "Oh, it's pretty scary. It's pretty scary." So we're going up the hill, and I'm like, I don't like this, man. This is weird. This is scary." He was very nice though. We hit the brake run, and he's like, "If I can recommend anything, you should ride it later in the day when it's warmed up. It's a much better ride."
Yeah.
Like, dude, really?
Yeah.
If you go to Cedar Point a ton, like obviously all of us do and stuff, and you just want to do like a small little prank or whatever, sometimes that's fun to, if you're by yourself or with a group of friends, it's kind of fun to play off like, "Oh, I have no idea, well, this is a brand new ride for me."
Yeah. But
see how many people are so nice, because it's nice to see the people come around and be like, "Oh no, it's okay, yeah, no, it's a good ride, it's."
Yeah. So ERT in the morning was on Magnum, Wild Mouse, Millennium, and then there was ERT on Blue Streak, Raptor, Gatekeeper, Valraven. I think we rode everything on ERT. That was cool. They had breakfast for us set up at Backbeat Q. So we had nice little pastries and donuts and coffee and hot chocolate and tea. That was very nice. So we all got a little bit of food in us before we started. And
I
then
had too many pastries, but yes.
Yeah, it was just a day at the park. I mean, it was so nice to be back. Like I told you guys, it had been over a year, and the last time I was there, I was just rushing around from place to place. I didn't really get to stop and relax, and it was just really, really, really nice to just be back and hang out with everybody, ride some rides, relax, just kick it. I mean, it was awesome.
And it was cool because there was a bunch of people, at least with me or whatever, some people came up to me and said, hey, really enjoyed the podcast, and shout out to everyone that came out to us, I would say, and it was cool. And we also got to recommend, I didn't catch his name, but if he's listening, I know he's a truck driver. He drives a truck from all over in the States and stuff and everything. So he said he was looking for a podcast and everything, and he was really cool. He sat with me at the dinner and everything. And since I got the microphone real quick and I see Kyle's talking, I'm going to a little blurb. At the Q&A, we did actually find out that Millennium Force, for its 25th anniversary next year, according to everything that was said at the Q&A, is going to be completely refreshed. They're going to have a brand new operating system, I guess, installed on it and everything, because obviously it's 25 years old next year, which is crazy to think about because it doesn't feel like it's that old. And then they also have possibly new lighting, like the new lighting and stuff and everything that might get updated on the hill and everything. So I'm super excited to hear that and to see what's going to happen with all that and stuff. But yeah. So Kyle, anything else that you want to add?
Yeah, I mean,
CoasterMania?
We enjoyed a nice dinner, right there at the Lakeside Pavilion.
Lots of different foods.
Yeah. And then we did the behind the scenes photo ops. We got to go on the infield of Steel Vengeance, which we've been on the infield before, cool, but never when the ride's operating. And it was really weird because everyone was like, "Whoa, we probably shouldn't be here," But then you start to think, you're like, well, you can't take any loose articles on the ride, so really, it's fine. We can be here. Yeah. That was cool. We got to see the sign shop. And then at dinner, we had a nice little surprise. And, like we said earlier, since the cruise was canceled, they added Wild Mouse as kind of like a, sorry, everybody, which I thought was more than enough. But we were eating lunch at Farmhouse, and we saw, hey, they added a one-time fast lane to everybody's account for CoasterMania. And then at dinner, Tony told us, he's like, hey, sorry about the cruise again. We added a fast lane. Save it. It's good until Labor Day, and it's good for Top Thrill 2 when it reopens. So that's what I'm saving. You guys talked me into buying all-day dining. I didn't want to buy all-day dining. I just wanted to buy one meal. But everybody talked me into it. They're like, "Hey, well, if you're gonna buy food, just buy the dining." And I was like, "Well, I don't think I'm gonna eat more than once." And they're like, "Oh, if you have it, you're gonna eat more than once." Well, I bought it and I didn't eat more than once, so I threw some money away on that. Let me tell you, Cedar Point.
The park was happy about that.
Yeah, Cedar Point, you're welcome for boosting your in-park rev just a little bit. Because
we also increased it when we played a bunch of midway games, and I won, or Justin won a basketball for me. It's the Top Thrill 2 basketball, and then you won the Wild Mouse basketball or whatever, and then I won a blanket and everything or whatever, a Top Thrill 2 blanket. So
jumping back to Farmhouse really quick, that was the first time I had eaten there. I know it opened in 2022. But I didn't have a meal plan then, and I still lived in Ohio. I never went to the park long enough to eat. So this is my first time eating at Farmhouse, and I opted to do the 3-side thing instead of an entree plus 2 sides. So I got the campfire chili, the chicken pot pie, and the broccoli casserole. And oh my God, it was all amazing. It was incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Now you see why you have
a hell of a meal to have during the winter when it's cold and
yeah, and it was nice too because it was nice and chilly and all that stuff kind of warmed me up. Like it was.
And it filled you up. You only used your meal plan or the meal once, and you were like, "Wow, that was a lot of food." And
it was a lot of food. I didn't even finish it.
Yeah, you were full. So
but anyway,
that's great.
You're welcome, Cedar Point, because most people you probably lose money on for the all day dining. Not me. You made money on me. You made like $8, so you're welcome. The Top Thrill 2 High Point beer, the lemon shandy, I tried one of those. I thought it was really, really, really good. A little sweet, almost a little too sweet, but I really enjoyed it.
You really don't taste the lemon. Or, I'm sorry, the beer in it. You really taste a lot of the lemon. To be fair, like literally, it doesn't taste like you drink it. You're like, that's a beer.
Yeah.
You know?
Just tastes like sweet lemon juice to me.
Yeah. We played some midway games. So like Carson said, Justin decided he was going to play the basketball game over by Gemini, and he ended up spending like what, $22 on a basketball.
I think it was more. I think it was like $28 or $30, something like that.
He kept buying because it's like $10 and you get the 4 or whatever, and then there's a prestige discount. But nowadays they do this thing called instant replay, where if you don't win and you buy another one, they'll add another ball or another throw or whatever. So he ended up, it was like the
Did he have like 7 or 8 balls?
He ended up, it was the third round of $10, and he had like 7 shots. And I think he made like his second to last shot. He finally made it in.
Because he was talking all that big
discount. He dropped like $27 on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he was talking all that big game, like, oh, I can get that in 2 shots. I'll get that real quick. We're like, all right, bet. And then he's like, come on, do it. And then all of a sudden he did it. And then, of course, I'm like really good at pushing buttons and really good at like committing people to buying things.
You're pressuring people?
Yes. Justin, I'm very good at pressuring people.
He was
AKA
100.
Kyle, the all-day dining, and then Justin, all the rounds that he bought for the basketball.
Actually, now that I think about it, I bought the all-day dining while he was playing basketball. So Carson was like, Justin, buy another round. Kyle, buy all-day dining. Like, anyway, so Justin played that, won a Top Thrill 2 basketball, and then Karsten complained about having to carry it around for the next few hours.
I didn't. I didn't bounce it. I did not bounce it.
No.
I did not bounce it because I want to keep the ball as pristine as it was, just because I'm not gonna play with it.
I grabbed it and immediately bounced it.
Yeah, I was like, don't bounce it. No.
I didn't even have time to process in my mind that I was holding a basketball in my hand. It was just like subconscious. I'm like, basketball, drop.
Yeah, but then as soon as you I don't even think you picked it up before. I was like, why'd you drop it? Why'd you bounce it?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. And no, a con artist. That's the word I was looking for. And then so he won me the basketball. So then it gets even better. I was able to con him into buying an all-day locker, and I was able to put the basketball that he bought inside the all-day locker that he bought. It was great.
Yeah, so
how much
Justin,
money did you spend, Karsten? Nothing.
Not much.
What did you get out of it? A basketball and an all-day locker.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Justin played the tall basketball game, the tall basketball hoops over by Gemini. And then the next day I played the short ones over on the main midway, and I won Karsten a Wild Mouse basketball.
Why are you winning it for Karsten?
Because I didn't want it. I don't normally go to the park and I don't normally play games. I don't normally eat. I don't normally get alcohol, but I was on vacation, right? I don't get to go to Cedar Point as much as I used to, so I don't mind dropping a little bit of money. And then I made you play the knock the cans down.
Yeah,
game.
I tried to get you to do it, and you're like, no, I'm bad at these. I'm bad. I'm like, no. You're like, no, I'm not even gonna hit the ABC bricks. I'm like, come on, do it.
But no, then you ended up winning. You won the Top Thrill 2 blanket.
I did, yeah. So if anyone likes the Top Thrill 2 blanket that's in the gift shop for $39.99, they do have it on this one midway game over there on the Max Air Midway, where you can pretty much all you got to do is get all, I think, 4 blocks off of the actual platform, and they give you like little bean bags.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to give the secret away of how to do it, because I figured it out after like 5 tosses, because I played it twice. But yeah, so you can get a nice Top Thrill 2 blanket, a real big one too. That's normally $40 for, I think the game was $10, and then you use your Prestige Pass or pass discount, whatever, and it was $8.50, which is pretty cool. So
I'm jumping around because I visited the park Friday and Saturday, so I'm jumping around the days, but I will talk about everything. And then we saw Class of '99, the new show in the Jack Wonders Theater. I thought it was really good.
That was good. We saw the opening show. We saw the opening show, which was really cool.
We saw the very first show, the 4 p.m. show on Saturday the 8th,
Saturday.
something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Rode Ocean Motion. That was always fun. Justin wanted to ride Ocean Motion.
No. He didn't just want to ride it. He demanded that.
He begged us to ride
in the
it.
past when I've been with Justin, and we'll be walking by the front of the park, and he'll be like, "Hey, you want to ride Ocean Motion?" I just kind of look at him and haha. Anyways, we're gonna go ride Millennium now. And so you mean to tell me that he was serious all those times?
He was serious. Yeah, he made us ride Ocean Motion. It was a fun ride.
He's like, this is where we're going to sit. He was the director and everything. We're like, okay, sit wherever you want to sit, buddy.
Yeah, if there's a type of ride that'll get to me, it's a swinging ride. Now, Ocean Motion on one lap is not going to make me sick, but on a day I'm dehydrated and tired, a ride on Ocean Motion would have put me over the edge. So
we went and got our CoasterMania souvenirs, our exclusive souvenirs. So this year we got a CoasterMania pin, and then we got a exclusive made to throw poster, which was very similar to the Prayers for Maria version of the poster if you went to that event. Pretty much the same. It's instead of blue train, it's black train, and the color scheme's a little bit different, and there's a CoasterMania logo, but that was always cool, bringing home a made-to-throw poster. And
it's a new CoasterMania logo than years past.
Yeah, it's a new logo. I'll definitely find a place to hang it. And then probably our biggest luck of the entire, at least my biggest luck of the entire trip, is we were anticipating that Tony Clark would do a tweet up. And we were all pooling our brains together, trying to figure out, where is he going to do the tweet up? And we had it in our heads that he was going to do it near Steel Vengeance or Maverick or somewhere. So we were hanging out in Miss Keats. We sat there for an hour and a half. And then finally we're like,
way too long.
Yeah, way too long. Finally we thought, well, he's not going to do it. We're going to bail. So we left. Evan, you went to check into your hotel. Me and Justin went to check in.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, me and Justin went to check into Breakers. Karsten stayed in the park. So finally, me and Justin are heading back in, and we text Karsten. He says, I'm hanging out by the human claw machine. So we go over, and there was a pretty lengthy queue for it. We're just hanging out, watching people. It's, the brand new thing in town. And I see a notification come up on my watch, and it says, find me here and win, #no running. And it's a picture of the human claw. And I'm like, Karsten, he's right here. Karsten, look, turn around. So he looks one way and I look the other way. We find him.
Let's just say that when you said that, I literally was like, huh? And I literally went around in a big circle, and you're like, no, he's right here. And I'm like, huh?
Yeah. Me and Karsten were guests number 1 and 2 to win tweet ups on CoasterMania Day. We were the first 2 there. And after the fact, we even went back and looked at the picture. We're in the picture. Yeah, you can see our backs in the picture. We're just standing there watching the claw. So anyway, I got my Top Throw 2 coin. I've got to see this ride test. I have the coin. I have a poster. I have a button. I've done everything. I have the Yeti. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
I've done everything but ride the damn ride at this point. I'm good. I just need to get on it.
That's it. You just need to sit in the test seat.
That's what I need to do.
And then riding it is the cherry on top.
Yeah.
You also, because it's a hot topic, you got to use the lockers. That's part of it too.
Oh yeah, lockers. Yep. Everybody's forgotten about the lockers. So when the ride opens, everyone's gonna be like,
this whole thing with the ride being closed was just a clever scheme by the PR department to get you people to stop complaining.
This was just a way. This was just a way to get everyone to forget about the lockers. It's like, well, they don't like the lockers. We'll close the ride for a month and see how they feel about the lockers when we reopen it. That's what it is.
And they're like, we'll just pretend like we'll take some seats off, and we'll start tinkering around and test it
every day. Every day they move a train half an inch so that people know that they're doing something to it. They're not doing anything to it. They're just waiting until the people that are pissy about the lockers finally quiet.
These damn enthusiasts to behave.
Oh my gosh, if it was only true.
I'm trying to think. And then,
what do you mean? This is fact.
One of the more disappointing notes of the trip was For nighttime ERT, we walked past Gemini. Gemini had a pretty lengthy queue, so we opted not to ride Gemini. Went and waited out for Maverick, and then once ERT started, we were on Maverick in like 10 minutes. Go over to Steel Vengeance. The line wasn't long. It was like, we made it to the station in under 10 minutes. And then we sit down in the train, and as soon as we sit down, the ride crew hits the e-stop button, and they have to evacuate from the lift. They have to evacuate from the brake run, and Steel Vengeance never reopened. So we did not get a nighttime ERT Steel Vengeance ride. None of us did.
Which we thought that it was going to be down for a lot because of everything that we saw, and we're not going to discuss that. But lo and behold, it was literally open like that morning.
It opened like at opening?
Yeah, it opened with the park. It opened with the park the next day. So we did get a Steel Vengeance ride. We just didn't get one during ERT at night.
Oh, Kyle, I'm glad you guys Steel Vengeance ride because I didn't. Well, no, I did during the day that day, but still.
Yeah, we didn't do one during the day because we were like, oh, it's on ERT. It'll be fine.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's never a good plan. That's never a good idea.
I'm trying to think. Honestly, I had a blast, just hanging out at the park for a couple of days. I'm trying to think if I missed anything, but I don't think I did.
You ate at Grand Pavilion?
Yes. I ate twice at Grand Pavilion that day. I went in
on Saturday?
On Saturday, the day that he didn't buy.
Oh, so here's the other thing. An hour and a half of sleep, and then we're in the park from 7 a.m. to at least 2 in the morning, if not a little bit later.
Yeah.
And then I thought having an hour and a half of sleep, I was going to go home and sleep for 6 days. I was up and back in the park for early entry the next day.
What is wrong with you?
I don't know. I woke up way early, and I was like, well, I'm up. I'm going in. So I got showered, got around, went in. I had breakfast at the Grand Pavilion. That was a good breakfast, man.
What did you get?
I got the ham and English muffin and egg sandwich with the tater tots. Oh my god, it was
the garlic aioli sauce or whatever that's on there.
Oh my god, it was so good. Gosh, it was incredible. Like that's better than like any breakfast sandwich at any fast food place. Yeah, like 10 out of 10, best theme park breakfast. Probably one of the best breakfasts too. It was awesome.
Yeah, to be fair, there's not a whole lot of theme park breakfasts that you can get actually at a theme,
but it's better than McDonald's or Wendy's or Chick-fil-A.
But yes,
so.
My parks, the parks down in my neck of the woods, they do serve breakfast at every park.
Okay. But you have to go to a sit-down restaurant, right? Or do they have it just like a walk-up stand like that?
I mean, at Universal, you have a couple at the resorts. You have Potter that serves breakfast. There's a couple places in City Walk that serve breakfast. Okay. Disney's the same way, where they have quick service options. They have sit-downs. SeaWorld, they do like character breakfasts, and there's a couple places that serve like wraps and sandwiches and everything. But
one of these days, I'll try the breakfast sandwich because I'm not a big breakfasty person to eat food, and I just don't want to use one of my I don't want to burn one of my meals on that because I'll just feel like I'll be hungry during the day. But I'm gonna have to try it. I'm gonna have to.
And then for lunch that day, I ate at the Grand Pavilion again, and I got the funnel cake fried shrimp and the potatoes, the salt potatoes.
Oh, did you drown them in butter?
Well, okay, so I didn't plan to, but I asked. I remember last year, someone I was with ate at the Grand Pavilion. I think it was either you, Evan, or Carson, maybe both of you. I don't know. And they're like, "Oh, you got to ask for the butter on the potatoes." So I asked, and the associate that was prepping my food goes to put some butter on top, and the lid popped off, and she just dumped it on there. And she was like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Do you want me to get you another one?" And I'm like, "You know what? It's fine. It's good. I'll just take it."
Nah, just dip your bread in it.
That's what I did. So once I was done with potatoes, I dipped the bread in it. So I got a lot of butter.
It was the butter.
It was very good. Yeah.
See?
How was the shrimp though? Because I really do enjoy that shrimp.
Yeah, the shrimp.
I haven't had it yet this year though.
The shrimp was really, really good. It had like a nice sweet flavor to it that I wasn't anticipating, but totally makes sense given that it's funnel cake batter.
It takes away a lot of the shrimp taste too. Like there's a lot of breading and funnel cake taste in your mouth, but then you're like, wow, it's and also the shrimp aren't like small or whatever. They're actually like a decent jumbo size. Shrimp. Yeah, so they're not like, oh, you get like small little shrimps. No, you get a decent size.
Yeah,
The seafood at Grand Pavilion is so good.
Just to go back on how silly I was with my food habits this trip. The day I bought all day dining, I was in the park for 18 hours. I ate once. The day that I didn't have all day dining, and I was in the park for like 6 hours, I ate twice, and I paid for both meals.
Oops.
So whatever.
And the day that you didn't have all day dining, you paid for a beer as well. You were just doing everything backwards.
I really was.
Park loves you. That's what the park wants. More of you.
I came home
Less of
with
Evan and I.
I came home with a homage T-shirt, a couple of stickers, a pennant. So I boosted their per cap that day. That's for sure.
They hate when they see me in the park. They're like, "Oh, guy, it's the guy that likes 50 ices a day and that spins like hell on the monsters."
Yeah,
so
they see you coming and they go, "This guy, he eats all our food and he makes our rides wear down quicker than they need to."
Well, you've ridden Top Thrill 2 like 25 times, so maybe it's you we should be blaming.
27.
Oh, see your point, and everybody listening that's pissed about Top Thrill being closed. Here's your issue. Here's your issue right here.
I'm sorry. I had a bunch of free days when it was open, and I was cashing in my free days.
He was being generous with the ices though. Every 10 minutes he'd be like, "So does anybody want an icy?" And then we'd say no, and he'd go get one anyway.
I did, yeah. Especially when we were in that long line for the souvenir for the CoasterMania souvenir. I was like, "Hey, anybody want an icy?" Everyone looked at me like, "No." I was like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna go get an icy." So I just walk over there, grab an icy, and come back in line and drink.
Hey, that lemonade flavor icy, that's refreshing on a hot day.
I'm gonna have to try that. I haven't. I'm just not a lemonade fan, but I'm gonna have to. I mean, why not try it? And if I don't like it, I won't get it. But yeah, again.
Anyway, I think that's it for my trip report. I had a blast. I had so much fun. CoasterMania is always a good time. And you know what? The rides are good too, but it's more about the people too. It's like a big family reunion. Seeing everybody, maybe you catch a ride with someone and then split back up. It's nice being there. Yes. I had a blast. I can't wait to do it again. But we've been talking about this for a long time now, so I'll let you guys add anything else you have to say, and then let's move on.
It was great actually having you back in Ohio for a minute.
Yeah.
I'll say that. It was nice to see you where we actually all became friends instead of traveling down to your neck of the woods.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a blast. It's always, like I said last week, 18 hours at the park. You got time to sit down and smell the flowers a little bit. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it was a good day, and God, I slept so I went back to my hotel, crashed, woke up, ate breakfast, drove home, crashed for the whole afternoon, went to a Monsters hockey game that night. Sunday, slept all day. That wore me out.
It's always a good event when it can wear you out. Everything which you said, Evan, and more. Definitely a shout out to the staff. Everybody, to security, to the ride ops, to Tony Clark and his team, the food people, everybody coming in together, and
that's a hell of an event to put on.
Putting on an amazing show and staying until the very, very bitter end and making sure everything was perfect. And and the food, there was a crap ton of food at the dinner, which was crazy.
Hey, that orange chicken was really good too.
Like you guys said, shout out to the associates. Working in a theme park is true, honest, hard work. It is hot, it's stressful, it's physical, it's tiring. So shout out to everybody who either came in early or stayed late or both, or had a hand in our group, just making sure that we all had the best day, because it's a lot, and they don't get the recognition they deserve. So just Agreed. To put on an event of that magnitude, it takes a lot from everybody. It's not just one team doing it. It takes a lot from the entire park, from safety and security to ride and foods and, everything. Everybody has to pitch in. And I don't think I encountered one rude employee or one employee who seemed uninterested or unhappy. Everybody was happy. Everybody was polite. Everyone was just pitching in any way they could. And the turnout, the result was a damn good enthusiast event that I cannot wait to go back to year after year now.
I would agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
All right.
So this is going to be kind of a rough transition, but next time we might see Kyle outside of Florida. I think it's going to be us three and some more friends heading out to Virginia to check out Kings Dominion and Busch Gardens and maybe Six Flags America. We haven't really hammered that in.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
talk about that one.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I don't have that park, so.
So, it'll be mediocre. It won't be nice. Anyways, oh wait, they're family now. We can't talk bad about them. But anyways, so Kings Dominion, not this year, but next year, is primed and ready to, one, celebrate their 50th anniversary, and two, finally fill the void that Volcano, the Blast Coaster, left. And it leaked a while ago, but now we're actually seeing it come true. It seems that the replacement for that coaster, a launching inverted coaster, is a launching wing rider themed to the whole Jungle Expedition thing. It's going to be in the same area of the park, same spot as Volcano was, which is now Jungle X. Track is showing up. You could see on the track there's LSM launch, or maybe it's the magnetic braking, but consistent with a ride like, say, Thunderbird, like Karsten, you and I were riding just a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
So yeah, it seems like everything that we saw 2-3 months ago when this thing leaked is coming true, where it's going to be a launched wing rider. It's going to be bigger and better and badder than Thunderbird. It's going to have this kind of foresty green track, and the supports are showing up too, and all the station pieces. So like, this is happening. They're teasing it now. I forget, they have on the wall, the construction wall, they have kind of cute, catchy sayings like "get ready to be propelled" or something dumb like that. But very exciting. I mean, let's face it, we're in the middle of June. Announcement season's less than 2 months away. So very excited to see. I mean, we know what the ride's going to be pretty well. I mean, it's going to be a launching wing rider with some inversions, but just all the theming that goes into it, because that's something Kings Dominion and all of Cedar Fair has done so well lately. Yeah. So very excited for that. We think, everybody seems to think that a Project 305 retheme is coming with it. Maybe a Flight of Fear touch-up, maybe a Backlot Stunt Coaster touch-up, because all those are technically part of Jungle Expedition, even though none of them have any sort of jungle theming with them currently. So big things happening at Kings Dominion. So super excited for that. I think Boys Trip 2024 might have to be repeated in 2025, so we could check this out.
It might have to be. It'll be interesting to see what comes from it. You know, I've been seeing the pictures online and stuff and everything. It's getting me all jazzed up, excited. I do like the green. I do, yeah.
It's pretty. It's Volcano the Blast Coaster was such a unique ride, and did you guys get to ride that?
Yes,
I know I did plenty.
You got to ride it, Evan?
Ride. Yeah. Oh God, yeah.
Okay.
I've been to Kings Dominion probably more times than I should have been. It's just Busch Gardens is the premier park of the region, and it's just like I find myself there a lot. And Kings Dominion, you got to pass it on the highway, so
right, exactly.
It's just like passing up Kings Island when you go to Holiday World or Dollywood or something.
Yeah,
but anyways,
it doesn't make sense. So
yeah, you got to stop. I love Kings Dominion. That's not a knock on Kings Dominion, but so I wrote it. As my microphone falls.
The hell
Sorry,
did you just knock over?
My microphone just said we're done.
All right, let's move forward then.
Yeah. So, anyways, Volcano the Blast Coaster was a love coaster, and it's a tough ride to replace. So this seems like it'll be a worthy successor, though. So I'm super excited.
So, and speaking of that, Evan, you got a trip coming up, right? You're gonna.
Yeah, speaking of trips, and the reason that we're not going to record next week is, Kyle, I'm going to be down in your neck of the woods next week. I'm doing a nice summer trip to SeaWorld, Busch Gardens, Fun Spot Orlando, and of course Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure.
I'll be down there for 4 days, starting Monday. Super excited for that.
You're gonna do all that.
It actually might be. What was that?
You're gonna do all that in 4 days.
Yeah, SeaWorld Monday. We're flying in Monday morning. Tuesday all day Busch, and then Wednesday all day Universal, and then like half of Thursday before flying home.
Interesting.
So I've done all those parks. I'm bringing my mom with me, who's done none of them. But we have quick queue at the 2 SeaWorld parks, and honestly, Universal waiting in line is part of the fun because there's so much theming and stuff to look at, and there's not as many rides. I mean, part of Universal's fun is just being there. So yeah, I'm super excited, and I think it'll actually be less hot there than it will be up here next week, with the heat index and all that fun stuff involved. So yeah, I'm super excited, and there's nothing like the Florida parks. So anyways, won't be recording next week, but then 2 weeks from now we'll have a nice talk about my Florida trip, and please God, let me come back to some good news about Top Thrill.
Yeah, Kyle will be like, "Oh, it moved down the track or whatever because we're not ready to open it up yet because people are still talking about those lockers."
I know I was giving you a hard time about this at the park, and I'm totally I'm being really lighthearted about this. I'm not serious, but goddamn, Karsten, every single 20 minutes, both days I was at the park, you're like, "We gotta go walk by Top Thrill 2 and see if something's happened."
Hey man, you never know because as soon as you go around the park the opposite way, they'll be like, "Oh wow, they're getting ready to launch trains." You're like, "Huh?"
You're not going to launch trains at 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Fair. I wanted to see what was going on. Although it was, yes, I was a little anal about that, but then I saw it started to annoy people, so I started to do it more because I thought it was cute.
We'd be back at Maverick. No, I'm not even kidding. We'd be back at Maverick and be like, "Well, we gotta go walk by Top Thrill 2. Something might have happened."
No, we were like, "Well, we're gonna go." I can't even remember. I think we paused.
How about leaving ERT? Yeah,
we won't talk about that. No, but the thing is okay, cool. We're really thirsty. Well, let's go get drinks, and we walk all the way down to that stand underneath the Sky Ride. I'm like, "You guys want to go see Top Thrill 2?" And you're like, "No." Please.
And then on top of that, after standing there taking pictures for 20 minutes, we got to go stand by the claw machine for 20 more.
That thing is so dang fun, though. Back to what I was talking about.
Ride 20 rides on CoasterMania Day. Well, Carson had to take pictures.
To be fair, I didn't even take pictures of Top Thrill 2. I was just watching through the little tiny little holes through the fence. But then
everybody say it with me. Dork.
Yeah. And then I was like, "Ooh, can I do the claw machine because I want to get spun like crazy?" It's too much fun. So
that's why I was only with you for half the day.
No, I'm sorry. I'll be better. I'll be good.
Yeah. So I'm not coming to the park again until that stinking ride opens because I don't want to deal with that.
I will be at the park tomorrow if we get this up on tonight or whatever. I will be at the park on Friday. So if anybody sees me at the park, you
could go stare at Top Thrill 2 with him.
Come and stare at Top Thrill 2 with me. We could share. We could have dinner together and hang out and.
We could ride the monster.
We could ride the monster. Yeah.
All right.
I think we should end this before Kyle falls asleep or. Yeah,
I gotta go pack.
That's right.
All right. Well, like Evan said, he is out next week, so we are taking the week off. We will talk to you all in 2 weeks. I'm going to go sleep because I'm still trying to recover from CoasterMania. That's all I got.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in. If you go to the park this weekend, please stay hydrated. It's going to be hot. Other than that, thanks for tuning in. See you 2 weeks.
And make sure that you share this podcast with all of your friends and rate us on the podcast app. Thanks, guys.
All right. That's going to do it from us. Take it away, Justin.
Thank you for listening to the Rundown on Fun. Be sure to follow us on social media to stay up to date on all things Cedar Fair. As always, be kind to your ride operators, and we will see you on the Midway. Good night.